Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Slingin Leather, Southern California's official combat sports show. I'm Scuba Steve,
Chino Hernandez.
and I am incredibly excited to welcome back El Niño de Oro, Alan Navarro, as well as his brother and trainer, Abraham Navarro. Gentlemen, welcome back to the show.
Absolutely,
No, thank you,
absolutely.
Steven.
Glad
Thank
to
you,
be
Steven,
here.
and Edgar for having us. Really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
Yes,
and
we're grateful for the opportunity.
it's always a pleasure to have you guys on the show. And word around the campfire is, Alan, you got a fight coming up. What's who's it against, and what's the word?
So yeah, this fight is gonna basically pull me forward to when I win this fight. We get an opportunity at another WBC bout in July this summer, and we're planning after that fight again in September, and then soon come to the States right after that, negotiate and come and starting either the year coming or end of this year, get a fight for the over here in the States. But pretty much right now we're about 3 weeks and a half out. We're fighting at the 130-pound division. So I believe it's like junior lightweight. So we're pretty much just getting ready. We're on weight, only 8 pounds. And 3.5 weeks is pretty light. So just staying focused, training, and just going day by day and watching the fights too. Like all the fights that is happening right now, all the drama. I don't know if you saw the David Benavidez video. I just saw it today.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys saw that video.
Yeah,
I mean,
I didn't get a chance to look at it, but I know David Benavidez is always chirping when it comes to Canelo, and I know he took a picture with De La Hoya as well, so I know there's something stirring up there.
and that's
Yeah,
gonna be.
that's the fight I want to see too.
I mean, shoot, super middleweight's gonna benefit holistically if that matchup actually gets made, and I really hope it does. Like Canelo, for some reason, feels like this is not a worthy matchup. He keeps going after other contenders, and I mean, for it to be for super middleweight to really get some clarity, I feel like that matchup's definitely got to be made. But
Yeah, I think.
go ahead, go ahead.
Yeah, what was that? Yeah, I think a lot of it has to do with like the politics, because since like I was seeing there's he was just on a podcast. I don't know if you guys see Fresh and Fit. There was like he was on the Fresh and Fit podcast in Miami, and David Benavidez explained it, and I opened my eyes. I was like, okay, yeah, it makes sense now. So I guess Canelo's the ABC holder, and Benavidez, he's been the mandatory for about 3 years now. So each time you fight for the world championship, either you defend it or fight it, you have to pay a 3% fee to the sanctioning fee to the WBC. So it makes sense that Canelo can pick his opponents, because Canelo's 3% is more than Benavidez 3%. So the WBC is gonna follow whatever Canelo says. He's bringing in the dough, so
Hmm.
it kind of makes sense. So at that point, kind of was like, oh shit, that actually makes sense. It's a lot of politics behind why the fight isn't even happening either. Canelo can pretty much handpick whoever, since he's the money man. He can decide who he wants to fight pretty much.
Exactly.
Yeah,
But
no,
like you said, I want to see that
definitely.
fight too. Hopefully they make it happen.
Abraham,
Hopefully,
what are your
I'd like to
thoughts
see that.
on this matchup? Like, why do you
I
think
feel
it's
like
not made?
I feel like Canelo's a smart guy, a smart man. Like personally, I think it's he's promoting it. He's waiting for the fight to build up. Like he said, he wants 150 to 200 million, and I feel like he's just fighting. I feel like he knows people want to see the fight, and he's gonna do with like Triple G. People
Mhm.
want to know Triple G. He waited for the opportunity. He kept on fighting other fighters, and I feel like he's doing the same thing with Benavidez. He's waiting for the money to go up.
You think that 150 to
I
200
feel
mil
like
is a reasonable number?
That's
Saudi Arabia maybe. I feel like Benavidez wants to fight Bivol, and if it beats Bivol, then the money's there for sure. I don't know if it's 150 million, but it's high. It's up there.
Yeah, because that's a mind-boggling number. That's like oil money number. So if it's happening in
That's a lot of
Saudi
money.
Arabia,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a lot of money. I feel like I don't know if he was joking or something like that, but I mean, I feel like what Benavidez said too on the Fresh and Fit podcast. I feel like Canelo's looking retire soon
yeah,
with what he's asking.
because he's at that age right now where it's going to be those big fights, or it's going to be right off into the sunset type of deal. But
Definitely. And I had a question too, real quick too, about Canelo specifically. I know he's been fighting for like a while now, since I believe 15 years old, he's been pro. And coming from like I guess Alan, your side of fighting, being a fighter, and also Abraham being a trainer, you analyze Alan Navarro and see all his quirks and whatnot. So I guess my question is like, do you think that Canelo's prime will end earlier because he started at such an early age, or do you think that he can still last longer? Because I believe he's like 31, 32 right now, and usually the prime ends around 35. But some people say that Canelo's prime is ending right now because he started so early. I guess, what do you think about people saying that? Do you think Canelo still has it? Do you think he's gonna keep going forward, or do you think his prime is coming to an end?
I think that is true that his body's been since he was 15 fighting at the pro level. His body's been getting beat up by like the training camps and also the weight cuts. Like that takes a toll on the body. I mean, even at 32 right now, you're still looking good because even when you hit 30, you're already supposedly considered old for boxing. Um, but I think he has a little bit more. I think he said he got like 3 or 4 years left in the tank, and I think if he keeps fighting one time a year, I think he'll be good. I think that's what he's doing right now. He's just fighting like once every like 1 year and a half, making a bag and then leaving. I think right now for him is more business wise. I think he's just trying to make as much money as he can, making like smart investments, and because he's already planning, like you said, like retirement, leaving the game. Because he's like he pretty much accomplished everything already in the sport. So it's like for him, it's just like I think he's just trying to make the most money he can, so he can retire with a bigger bag. But I mean, he's probably out of his prime. Like in, I don't think he's in his prime anymore. I think his prime years were like when he was fighting Triple G and he was in those lighter divisions. Because now he's in the heavier divisions, and I kind of see him more slower, more like he's just throwing power shots. But if you look at back at younger Canelo threw a lot more combinations and was a lot more quicker. So, but yeah, I mean, I think at this point of his career, he's just like at the business point where he's just trying to like make as much money as he can and just trying to get out the game.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
And I
no, I feel like
yeah.
the way he started early, that does take a toll, and with all the punches he has, but also he took good care of himself. That also helps your like how long you're in the sport for. Like Oscar, Oscar got into drugs and stuff, and his career ended pretty early. Canelo, we haven't really heard anything of like any drug use or anything like that besides the doping allegations. But other than that, I feel like he's taking good care of his body and stuff like that. Besides on his prime, I feel like his last fight that he was in his prime was the Billy Joe Saunders one, where he was showing his skills and all that. He was in his element, where he was controlling how the fight was gonna go, and he said he could stop the fight whenever he wants to, and he stopped it. I feel like that was his last fight where he truly put his skills on display. Like that fight was just legendary. The way he just walked into it, his ring walk and everything, the way he ended it, how the fans cheered him on. I feel like that was his last prime fight. He had Plant. You could see. I mean, he looked really good in Plant, but like you could see, and then with Ryder, like he just took a lot of punishment. That's how like his age is catching up. Even though he takes good care of his body and stuff, but the age. At the end of the day, you're not as fast as these young guys. Like Benavidez is fast, tall. I feel like he Canelo knows this, and he's just trying to wait it out and trying to get the most money out of it.
Yeah, definitely. That makes sense. I mean, I hate to agree. I love Canelo, so it definitely is tough seeing him kind of go on a decline, and I'm sure it's tough to see any fighter go on a decline. But
Yeah.
yeah,
But
we'll
especially,
see.
Mexican fighters, since I remember when I was little, all of Tia's Tios, I gather onto the house, watching Canelo fight. It was when he fought Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. Like it was like, oh, big fight, and then when he fought Triple G, all of us were with Canelo. It's seeing him like grow, like getting older and stuff. It's sad, but we got these other new Mexican fighters, Pitbull. Maybe Jaime Munguia. I don't know if he gets the upset or not. I mean, we'll see. Canelo's age in his upcoming fight against Munguia. You know.
Definitely,
What do you
definitely, and
think
we
about
got
that? Oh,
Allen
sorry,
as
go ahead.
well. I was gonna say we
Yeah,
got Allen as well. He's gonna
you
come
got
up and become the next thing.
Yeah.
come up. But yeah, I mean, it's just the. I think Benavidez right now, he's like the next upcoming middleweight. I think he's the one that's gonna take the throne after Canelo. Like, but I think he moved up already light heavyweight. He already confirmed it, so it's like he's not even gonna fight Canelo. He's already moving up. I think he's just kind of past left it in the past. He's like, okay, I'm not gonna fight him. Just gonna move up.
Yeah,
No, it makes a lot of sense. I mean, I still do think that Canelo did look very good in his appearance against Charlo. I mean,
He
I
did look good.
I mean he it was a masterclass for cutting off the ring, and that was evident because Charlo could not get him off him for that whole fight. But yeah, no, I completely agree with you. I just want to see how much he's got in the tank against someone who's a legit super middleweight, someone who's not coming up from welterweight and trying to, go up and try to compete with the bigger body and a harder puncher. So yeah, no, that's been evident with what we've seen from him. Um, Going on to another huge Mexican fighter, someone who says he's now currently the second biggest name in Mexican boxing. Isaac Cruz defeated Rolly Romero via TKO in the eighth round of their co-main event bout against of the Tim Tszyu and Sebastian Fundora card. What do you think of Pitbull's performance, and what do you think of the knockout?
I think I was surprised to be honest. Well, I knew he was gonna win. I knew people was gonna win, and I knew it was gonna be by knockout. I just didn't think it was gonna be like that dominating, or like it was gonna just end off like that. Like people just winning, like Tyson. That's what they call Mexican Tyson. I actually met him in the WBC. I think it was the 60th anniversary event. And I mean, the guy's really small, and he's 2 divisions heavier than me. He's like probably like right here to me, like to my neck. Like I'm like, what the hell? I was like looking at him, and he's a humble guy though. He's like a really humble guy. That he's so quiet. If you approach him and ask him for a photo, he's like super quiet. He's not like arrogant. Like complete opposite what Rolly is. Rolly was like the whole press conference. He was just like arrogant. Had that Chihuahua chain on and all that, flashing it in his face.
Oh my
But
God.
it was a good fight. I mean, I like watching that. I mean, he grew off. Literally, he got famous off of the tank loss, which was a good performance.
Mm.
And I mean, congrats to Pitbull, man. He's legit. I like him. I'm a big fan.
What
absolutely, absolutely.
what do you think his ceiling is at lightweight? Do you think do you ever see him really? I mean, say that rematch with Tank is made. Well, what do you think the difference would be a few fights removed from that?
The weight class, because now it would be at 140. Pitbull is already I think WBO champion at 140-pound division, so he moved up to I think what is it like junior welter.
Yeah.
So Tank, he's gonna have to move to 140 because Cruz right now, what he's thinking is, I mean, Tank is the money fight, but Cruz wants the other belts and either wants Steel or the other dangerous fighter Matias. And I forgot who. Oh, and so it's Tio Matias, and then the third one I forgot who the hell it was.
He was Haney, right? Devin
Oh yeah,
Haney.
damn.
I think
Yeah,
it's
it's a good.
Haney.
He called them out. When he was in wildcard gym, he called them out. He said that after this fight, he wants Cruz because Cruz got the other belt, and Haney's trying to be undisputed at 140. But Haney, man, I mean, Haney looked badass against Grace. Like, he didn't run. He was in the pocket and he just boxed the shit out of him. Like, in the pocket. Like, it was just like beautiful boxing. This shit looked like, I was like, damn, that shit was good. Every round, his conditioning looked on point. He went up, I think they were talking about it and the commentators were talking about it. He went up like 20 pounds the next day. So he wasn't even at 140, he was like at 155, maybe 155, 160 pounds. So he was fighting pretty heavy, and I'm surprised that even he was fighting pretty heavy and he was able to move like that on his feet and change the angles and stuff. I mean, he did good. And then also this fight, I don't know if you've seen his freaking vlogs, but I mean, he's working hard for the Ryan Garcia fight. Ryan has been getting a lot of push because of his social media, things that he's been posting about like the Bohemian Grove and all this other stuff. And even me, I was like, damn, like I've never seen a fighter ever like do that. I don't know if it's promotion. I don't know if he's on something or what, but all I know is that a lot more viewers are gonna tune in the fight, so he's making more of a bag.
I mean,
Yeah.
Ryan gone off the deep end a little bit, ain't he? I mean, that dude. I've never even seen a fighter
Me
of
either.
even a higher like entertainment value. Like let's not mince words. Canelo's like a bigger boxer than Ryan Garcia. There are several boxers in the world that are bigger than Ryan Garcia that have not gone off this far in the deep end to say certain explicit things that
Yeah.
will get this video flagged. Abraham, from like a trainer's perspective, if you ever saw a fighter start to change like that, to sort of like shift, what are the questions that you'd ask them? Like, what are the things that you'd be concerned with, or what would you feel if it started like that? I'm not saying Alan's gonna go off that far,
Oh yeah,
but
yeah.
I'm not saying Alan's gonna go off
Well,
that far.
well,
But if a hypothetical fighter did that,
well, like first, like I would want to see, you know, if they're on anything, or what are they looking into, like, because when you start investigating things, you start like making scenarios in your head and stuff like that. But I mean, like as a trainer, like I could just try to keep the fighter focused and stuff. But if the fighter's already putting stuff in his head and stuff, then there's nothing much you can really do. It's also how how you grow up too. I feel like Canelo. I mean, us Mexicans, we're scared of the chupacabra and stuff like that. Like the cucuy under the bed and stuff. Like we don't really get into that scary stuff. Like watching a scary movie about like something like a Ouija board is already too close to that stuff.
mm-hmm.
But it's I mean, I don't know if what he's saying is true or not. I mean, me personally, I feel like he saw something or something. I don't know, because how does a fighter go from like regular to like like that? I mean, I feel like not. I don't know. I don't know if he is saying the truth or not, but I feel like some things what he's saying is kind of I mean, it has to have some type of truth. Uh, but now as a trainer, all I could do is just try to cut off like if he's on anything or if he's like listening to people that he shouldn't be really listening to, try to cut that off. But at the end of the day, it's the fighter and it's the fighter who's like, try to keep himself there at the same time. I mean, we have a team and we try to keep all of us, together and stuff, keep in a positive mindset. But if the fighter starts dabbling in some other things and stuff like that, and he's keeping it secret, then you can't really help him there as much.
Yeah, definitely. And I guess like I do want to dive into this as well, but like what are some adversities you faced as a trainer? Because obviously everybody has seen like a look into a fighter's life and obviously the adversity they face, the mental side of things, because we all know boxing isn't just physical, but it's very, very
Yeah,
mental. So what are some things you face as a trainer that have like I guess some adversities that you've come through? Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, no, and everybody does sacrifices, into doing stuff. When that whole situation happened last year, he was obviously down, and everybody was like, oh, maybe you should, move on with the next segment of your life, but obviously I wasn't gonna let him quit, so I was just like, look, I'll help you. We started, I mean, when we were little and stuff, we would train since I don't know, since ever since I was able to walk. I remember I had like these little USA gloves, with my name on it, and we would be hitting the bag and stuff. But uh, my dad always he taught me how to do mitts and stuff, like as a joke, or like just when he was tired and stuff. When I would finish training, he would be like, "Ah, here, take over the mitts, give him some rounds," and I would give him rounds and stuff. And obviously, when all that stuff happened, he was down. All of us were down, and I was just like, I can't let him quit on his dream. So I told him, I was like, I'll help you train. And obviously, I wasn't good at first. I was like quick. I wasn't very technical and stuff, but I started getting better and better watching Reynoso, Freddie Roach, Floyd Mayweather Sr., Salas. I started watching them, and I started getting combos from them. And with time, you get better and stuff. But everybody makes sacrifices. Junior year, I did football and stuff. Well, my whole high school career, I did football. I just liked it because I don't know why. I just like physical sports. With boxing and stuff, like I just like physical sports. I got into soccer when I was little. I didn't really like it because you get foul, you get like flag, card stuff. I didn't really like it. Football, I liked it, and it's physical and stuff. You get in your element. But when all that stuff happened, we started training. I remember, I think it was January or February. No, December. We started training in December again of I think 2022. We started retraining and stuff, getting prepared, and then January and February kicked in, and we started getting more locked in. And then once March, April came along, we were already ready, set. And yeah, I had to miss some dances and stuff, like, but I don't really care about that stuff. I look at the future and like what's gonna be there for this fight in April. I'm gonna miss prom. I don't really look at it like as a big loss, because I look at the future. Like I look at what we could do later on. Prom isn't gonna really. It's just a memory. But this is for legacy. To stamp our last name. For people to know.
Facts.
Definitely,
But
definitely. And like from what it seems too, I mean, without giving anything away from behind the scenes, but I mean, it seems like you guys got a lot of things rolling with you, with Alan. Seems like everything is going up from here, and like I've told Alan before, I like truly believe that you guys are gonna do something big. So it seems like everything is just starting to go, and I've noticed that with other trainers, they seem to, at least in the beginning, with like I know with Eddie Reynoso when Canelo wasn't big, they were just looking to the future. It's a lot of sacrifice and whatnot. So it's a lot of parallels between you and Eddie and a lot of other trainers from the beginning.
yeah,
So
yeah, I know. I forgot who said this quote, but it's always sacrifice things for your dreams, because later on your dreams will become a sacrifice. I always look at things like that. I'm willing to, I'd sacrifice. I don't really care about the sacrifice. I just care about my dreams, and I know what I want to do in this life. And that's what I'm trying to do. I'm not gonna I'm not gonna pick a dance over a fight like this. That's gonna open up opportunities. What is a dance gonna do? That's not gonna open up anything. uh I
absolutely,
rather pick more important things that's gonna help me later on in my future. And that's the type
definitely.
of road I'm picking. Family over anything.
That's good. And I guess Alan, my question to you is like hearing that family over everything and the sacrifices that he's made, what does that do for you as a fighter? You see your trainer putting in all that work for you. How does that make you feel? And I guess how does that affect you in your training and your future?
Well, it's good. We train. I don't know. Well, pretty much all the videos, the hand mitts. That's him doing all the mitts. We pretty much we are at the point where we do mitts and he doesn't call out combinations. It's just like I don't know if you see Mayweather do mitts, but pretty much it's just like he throwing punches at me and I already know what to throw. If he throws this punch, I already know what combination to throw. If he hits me down here, I already know what to throw. So we're not even calling out numbers anymore. It's just like a reaction, pretty much. pretty much reaction, and we already got it all down. Working on a lot of technical, stuff. Moving to the angles, keeping the jab out. Since in my division, I'm considered big, and I'm pretty long for a 130-pound division. Just using my jab a lot, especially if those shorter fighters like people Cruz and stuff, they coming in like with that close guard. I mean, you just gotta keep them out. And one fighter that I like to watch a lot is him and Tommy Hearns. He's a freaking a good example of that. But yeah, pretty much. I mean, I always say that we have to have a strong team. Um, Abraham's a head coach, and then we got some guys down in San Diego that are helping us out as well once we come to the States. And pretty much just like that. And I'm running my social media at this moment. Everything I'm working with Joey, Boxing Fight, JF Boxing. Shout out to them. They're my marketing team, and they've been helping me a lot. I mean, freaking, like I said in the video, any fighter that wants to, grow their social media. I think nowadays it's just about social media now. So if your name's not out there, it's like you don't exist. So pretty much we're just working on the top little by little. I see myself maybe right now I'm 21, so by 22 I see myself hopefully fighting for like a world title in my division. There's a lot of fighters that I can fight at 130. Maybe 126 if it makes sense, but 126 my body is like I don't know, so my body's not really wanting. Maybe when I was 17 when I turned pro, 126 was a piece of cake to make, but now I'm 21, my body's more mature, I have a lot more muscle on me, and especially now that I've been lifting weights for 3 years now, with my strength coach, my body has developed more muscles, and it's gonna be harder for me to cut down to 126. 130 is like right now I can still make it, but it's not easy to make. It's like Devin Haney. I don't know if you saw Devin Haney when he weighed in 135, how dead he looked. I don't look that dead, but I'm like close to like fuck. Like it's like hitting that bridge. Shit. But yeah, I see
Yeah,
myself moving up to even all the way to 147, because even at 147, I'm still cut. And but pretty much, working little by little. And I like to thank you guys, for having us here on your podcast, and giving an opportunity for me and my brother, to put our name out there, in the YouTube world. So yeah, just really grateful right now.
Of course, dude.
definitely,
Pleasure's all
definitely,
ours, man. You know,
absolutely, absolutely.
opportunities like this are going to be crazy in the future. To see you go and realize all the success that you're going to have in your career and be like, yo, we got this dude when he was 21, we was up and comer when he was, you know, what you evidently you'll still be a dog then, but you're obviously a dog now. So I mean, you know what I mean. But we did have one question. We do know you guys are UFC fans and you guys do watch MMA as well. The biggest fight card in years is coming up this weekend, UFC 300. Which matchups are standing out to you, and who are you excited to watch fight?
What, Alex Pereira, I can't say his name. Alex Pereira. Okay, is a Brazilian guy.
Yeah, Alex Pereira.
Correct. Is Alex Pereira? I don't know if
Yeah,
it's that.
The way you say his last name, you have to like bring out like the Spanish, like Pereira.
yeah, Pereira.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, well, him. Is he fighting on the card?
Yeah, he's the main event against Jamal Hill.
Yeah, I'm excited to watch that guy fight. Like, hey, I've been seeing his videos on Instagram of him hitting the mitts, and it's just like, damn, dude, that dude's explosive. I wouldn't even want to get hit by a knee or freaking an elbow by him. Yeah, no, it's a different sport, man. It's a really hard sport. My respect to all the MMA fighters. I have a friend that is a professional MMA fighter, Christian Hardman. And yeah, it's a lot different sport. I've seen him. I went to go see him fight here live at Salt Lake in the Maverick Center. And yeah, I mean, it's a different sport, and I respect it. Fighting is fighting, and at the end of the day, these guys are going out there, to fight. So, but yeah, really excited to see that. I didn't even know it was this Saturday. And Ryan Garcia fighting this Saturday too?
next
no,
one.
next Saturday.
Saturday.
Oh, okay, next Saturday.
Yeah, I know that's gonna be a huge matchup. These next 2 weeks, we gonna have a lot to talk about. So I mean, it's
Yeah.
gonna be good. When you see a guy like, I'm curious, when you see a guy like Alex Pereira, and this is, I want to hear both of your guys' perspectives on this. You see a guy hold his hands so low while in boxing, you are, prioritizing, keeping your hands up, defending your chin, defending your head. Does that, what is that? What does that say to the differences in striking? What do you guys see when you see, someone holding their hands low, being very relaxed in the octagon?
It's a lot different, and the way is because they gotta defend kicks. So I think they have to have their hands in the mid level because they gotta also be cautious about kicks, heads, and also I've seen that their punches is more like, since they are wearing smaller gloves, like one punch, even in boxing, but even right there, it's like more like one punch is like it'll pop you, and it'll kind of get you
Hmm.
a little taste. And that's what I've noticed, that like a lot of the UFC fighters, they're just throwing like pretty much a lot of overhand rights, a lot of right hands, and there's a lot of knockouts that are just with one punch, not even combinations. It's just like one punch knockouts because of the glove difference. And I think the main reason is because they got to defend the takedown, then the kicks to the bottom, to the stomach, punches, um, and they're always just on their feet, kind of like staying at distance. Probably that's why. Even because they have small gloves, even if they have
Hmm.
their gloves like up here, it really is not gonna help too much because their gloves are so small that it could just literally go in through their guard. And I think that's why they go like this. I don't know if you noticed it, they go like this. And I never
Hmm.
understood why they do this, but now I understand because I mean their gloves are so small, it goes through the guard. They're forced to just do this, so
Hmm.
like guard up. But I think that's one of the main reasons, just pretty much defense. Defense for them, they have to worry about different other aspects of the game, like kicking and knees and elbows.
No, makes sense. Abraham, you see any differences as a trainer? Like, would you be concerned about that if you were training a guy like that going into, obviously not a boxing trainer, but if you were going into an MMA fight, would that concern you?
Or not a no, it wouldn't really concern me. It really depends what type of fighter he is, but yeah, I mean, in boxing, when I spar stuff like that, I just worry about like the jabs, the rights, But I don't. They got to worry about kicks, knees, elbows, takedowns. Like I don't know. Like they probably have to be thinking a lot in their head. It's probably they probably use their for sure they use their head a lot. Like thinking what strikes are coming in. They probably do a lot of studying, so they probably see signals that the other fighter does, but as a coach, if I was like training an MMA fighter, I wouldn't really be concerned as much. I'm pretty sure. Well, as far as like every MMA fighter I've seen, like they've always have their hands like low, some low, or what I see MMA fighters do, instead of keeping their hands up, they just use a lot of head movement nowadays. I'm pretty sure like the only one that keeps his like hands pretty high is like Sean O'Malley, but his head movements crazy. Like with Cheeto, like his head movement was like, oh my, like he looked like the Devin Haney. I was like, what is this, the Devin Haney fight or something? Like he was keeping his distance and stuff. I was like, well, Regis Porgas is in there or something or what? I was like, the way he was like boxing him, I was like, wow. And then kicks will come out of nowhere. I was like,
Sean
but yeah,
O'Malley,
no.
actual like I think he could be a good boxer. If I think he is probably like
Well, I think
if
he's
you
calling out Ryan.
might go into
Yeah.
boxing like Nagano.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean, he did call out Ryan Garcia. I know with the whole Francis Ngannou and Anthony Joshua fight, it's kind of, quieted the esteem that MMA fighters may have when going over to boxing. But what do you see in that fight when you have two huge power punchers, one coming from a different background, the other coming from traditional boxing? How do you see that fight going?
I
I
mean,
mean, I see Ryan taking that for sure because I mean, MMA fighters like they throw like they throw hands and stuff, but boxing is boxers they throw their punches fast and quick. MMA fighters they have to focus on their kicks, their arms and stuff. Boxers they only focus on hands, speed. Ryan Garcia. I mean, I'm pretty sure Sugar will give him a good fight. In the beginning, but their stamina won't compare to like as a boxer. But I think Ryan has that one for sure. I mean, with the Francis Ngannou and AJ, I mean, you AJ just threw that right hand, and Ngannou didn't really see it. He just got knocked out, slept. But I mean, boxers compared to MMA fighters, I mean, boxers have that the hand speed and the power. They're fast, but they got power, and that's one thing that MMA fighters they don't really have.
And
I mean,
Ngannou would
they
never be
have
slipped
speed and
like that.
power and stuff, but with boxers it's different because they just throw it and it lands and it's fast and quick. MMA fighters they got power and stuff, but they charge it up. When they're gonna throw it right. With
Yeah.
boxers, you can't if you're not a boxer or if you do MMA and stuff like you can predict it, but with some punches you just can't really predict it.
No, definitely.
Definitely. I was gonna ask too, Alan. I mean, like, do you ever see yourself going in that MMA route? Like, once you have that superstar status, I know I've heard Ryan Garcia mention it a couple times. Gervonta Davis has said, if you drop a bag, then I might go to MMA. Do you ever see yourself like doing a crossover like that in the future?
Yeah, I think that's the same thing that what Gervonta Davis said. I mean, they have a good bag. I'd do it. I'd do it for the bag, but not for career wise. But I think that's why a lot of these UFC fighters are coming to boxing is for the bag. They notice that they can make a lot more in one fight than they did in their whole career. So, I mean, if they're offering me more than what I could make in boxing, I'd consider it. Taking it. But yeah, I mean, all that stuff excites me, man. All that thing, man. I'm open to anything having to do with fighting. I'm open to it as long as there's money involved, and I'm all for it.
Definitely. And like Abraham, how would you feel if one day, like in the future, Alan's a superstar and one day he comes up to you and he says, "You know what, Abraham, I wanna fight in MMA. I'm calling out this guy and this guy."
Like
How
Logan
you
Paul.
feeling?
In
Yeah.
boxing, or like is he gonna step in the octagon?
In the octagon. How you feeling if he tells you that I'm going to MMA?
I'd be like, I mean, you have to have big balls to step in the octagon. It's crazy because but I'd be like, yeah, I'd be there. I'll be your striking coach. But you got to get a grappling and a kicking coach because I can only help you in the striking.
Yeah.
Defensively, I don't know if I can help you on the defensive either because I don't know how to guard kicks or anything like that. The way they stand is differently because if you stand like a boxer in there, you're getting taken down Khabib style or something. But I mean, yeah, I mean nowadays, it's the money and stuff, the crossover that there's big money in that too. With the crossover and all that, with Tyson Fury and Ngannou, the way that fight went down, it was crazy, and it made AJ versus Ngannou bigger. But those types of fights, I feel like they're just gonna get bigger and bigger and bigger the farther we go.
Saudi Arabia is gonna make the sport of boxing a lot more bigger because they're like the new promoters in the game now. They just barely got into the game, and they've been making more and more boxing events in Saudi, and they got the money to back it up. Even like the what is it called, their excellency. He's
Yeah.
determined to make the Canelo Benavidez fight. Like that's why the 150 million, 200 million Canelo's asking for it. He knows he'll get it, but the only place he'll get it is in Saudi.
Mhm.
Um, and if the king wants the fight, he will like somehow. I mean, those guys, that's like change to them. So I mean, somehow they're gonna bring up that money to pay Canelo so they can have the fight in Saudi. But I think like they're gonna make it a lot bigger, and also Misfit boxing, all this like YouTuber boxing is gonna make it big. Going into the Jake Paul Tyson thing, that shit shocked me. Like when it went on Netflix. Netflix is coming into the boxing world now. That's huge. Like that's gonna change the whole game, the whole thing forever. Like ESPN is no longer gonna be like I've been hearing like they've been going down ESPN, and now it's all about like streaming, and like Netflix getting into the game is just gonna like make the sport even bigger. So I wouldn't be surprised if more YouTubers and more MMA fighters hop in. There's gonna be a lot of crossovers. I think it's just the beginning of of a new era. Like we're in the social media era where a lot of these people are just gonna cross over, to fight either in the MMA. We haven't seen a boxer go to MMA. Well, the only boxer that we've seen go to MMA is Clarissa Shields, but we didn't really hear about that.
Oh, yeah. I mean, yeah, she did good in some of her fights. Her hands are still her hands, and she's the GOAT, as she calls herself for a reason. But shoot, I mean, we've seen other guys like James Toney. Like James Toney went and fought Randy Couture, and that went and
Oh yeah,
I'm just
I forgot about that one.
I'm just gonna say Clarissa did a lot better. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, she did do a
Uh,
lot better.
but no, dude, I really gotta ask you guys. There's a 31-year age gap on July 20th between Mike Tyson and Jake Paul. How problematic do you think that is, and what do you think about the whole booking of that fight in general?
Dude, I think that makes it even more interesting, and I think that's why people are gonna tune in because of the age gap, and they want to know if Mike still got it. Is Mike still the baddest man on the planet? And also a lot of people want to see Jake Paul get knocked out. But I mean, he's been hitting the miss pretty good. He looks good. The age is gonna play a big part. Jake Paul's been getting respected. Jake Paul. Jake Paul's been getting good every fight. He's actually like training, like he's actually training, like training camp, trying to learn. He has like a whole team, strength coach. He just had right now. He has a coach. I think Larry Wade. He trains a couple boxers in Vegas for strength conditioning, and he got the trainer. I think his trainer is Love. He fought with Benavidez. He got knocked out. Um, so he's been training pretty good in Puerto Rico. He's been putting in the work. He's been getting better every fight. Every fight I've seen him more professional. Like he's getting more experience. But at the end of the day, Mike Tyson, and he's the world. He was a heavyweight champion of the world at 20 years old. He's been in there with dogs. He has a lot more experience than Jake Paul. So it's gonna be interesting to see if, for me, it's gonna be interesting to see if Mike can knock out Jake. That's my question: is does Mike still have it? That's my question for me. I don't think Jake Paul will win Mike though. I don't think he will get the win because I just think Mike will like somehow like win the rounds. I don't know how, but the age gap is the only thing that is like kind of like if Mike runs out of stamina or his legs don't feel the same, who knows? But I'm gonna tune into that fight for sure.
I mean, Abraham, what are your thoughts? Like let's say you're training Mike Tyson. Let's say you're the one holding pads for him. Are you saying that he should take this fight, or do you think this is a bit much?
Uh, I mean, I've seen people hate on the fight, but I mean, they're both making a good amount of money. But if I was Mike's trainer and he came up to me and be like, oh, I want to take this fight, and I would be like, you know what? And the rules, it's I think 16-ounce gloves and stuff. I mean, they could hurt each other for sure, but I mean, I would be like, I mean, Mike still
Oh,
has it.
it's regular fight gloves. It's 10 ounce.
Oh
It's,
shoot.
no, I think it's 16. They came out. I think,
No,
but I
no,
don't know,
it's
10 ounce or 16. I mean, if it was 16, I would be like, but 10 ounce. I mean, I don't know. I feel like putting Mike Tyson in 10-ounce gloves is kind of wild. Especially against Jake Paul. I mean, if it's 10-ounce gloves, then I feel like Mike Tyson. I mean, but business wise, I mean, I don't know. Business wise, I don't know if they would let Jake Paul lose like that because there's a lot of money in Jake Paul right now, and I don't think they would just let Jake Paul lose like that. I feel like it's gonna be like Logan Paul versus Mayweather. I feel like Jake Paul is gonna take him distance and just have that under his belt. Like, oh, I lasted with Mike Tyson. It's gonna feel like the same thing, and it's gonna give him more of a side and more money to his next fights. But I feel like it's gonna be like one of those. I don't think there's gonna be like a knockout or anything. I mean, I'm excited to see if there's gonna. I'm pretty sure they're gonna be rumbling it out, but I don't think there's gonna be a knockout. I don't think they'll let each other knock each other out like that. I'm pretty sure business. They're just doing that to get money and stuff. Mike Tyson in his interviews, he says he either has no hate for Jake Paul. He says he's scared right now and all that, but I feel like it's just promotion. Uh, I don't think there's gonna be a knockout. I feel like it's just gonna be one of those fights. It's a money fight, money grab. I
Then
feel like
he's commentating that fight.
I feel like Jake Paul is gonna be like a. It's a win-win for both of them. Mike gets money, Jake gets money, and he gets he lasted with Mike Tyson. Everybody. It's like a common joke. Would you rather like do something like I forgot what it was, like jump off a building or go in a full round with Mike Tyson, prime Mike Tyson. You're jumping off the building.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. But I feel like it's gonna be Mayweather versus Logan Paul again. Mayweather to this day brags about going, what is it, 12? Like 7 rounds to Floyd. I
Mhm.
think I feel like it's gonna be the same thing with Jake Paul. Jake Paul's gonna, his next fight is gonna be like, I lasted with Mike Tyson. More money for him in the future. I feel like it's gonna be one of those types of fights. I'm excited to see it. I see Mike Tyson hitting the mitts and all that. I'm like, wow, he's still dangerous. I get, against Roy Jones, he looked good. I remember I was watching that. I think we're in Mexico at the time. We were watching. I was like, oh, Mike
I
Tyson was
was
out there
for
throwing some haymakers.
the commentating was biggest Snoop Dogg's commentating was legendary. He's like, get him. I can't say the word, but he's
He's
like,
like,
get him.
he's like, this is like my two uncles going at it at the barbecue. Go ahead, Roy.
Yeah.
Go ahead. They gotta have that dude back
But I
on.
Oh
think
He
Lord.
did the Sean O'Malley fight
I
when he first
forgot.
went to Dana White's Contender Series. That dude
I
could do
remember
it.
that.
Like,
I
Oh,
forgot.
Yeah.
What
Snoop Dogg,
other fight Snoop
uh,
commentated for Jake Paul? It was where he had money on Jake Paul and Jake Paul
Oh,
knocked him out. He was
yeah.
like, give me my. He was like screaming it out loud. He had money on Jake Paul. He
Yeah.
was like, give me my money.
oh, as soon
That
as
was
knocked
Ben Askren.
oh, it was against Ben Askren.
Yeah, he was like, give me my money. He was like yelling it out. I was like, gotcha. Snoop Dogg should be a boxing commentator. He brings out his personality. Is just, I feel like some people would just buy the fight to see Snoop commentate.
No, without a doubt. I can even see him being, a Michael Buffer at some point. And now we have the judges' scorecards for decision.
hey, like what is that one guy that has the big dreads?
I'm
Like
sorry?
what is that
Oh,
one guy that has the biggest dreads, like all the way going down to his
yeah.
feet? I
He
forgot his
wears
name, but yeah,
glasses.
that's Snoop. That's like Snoop.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about. The zone guy, right? The
Yeah,
zone.
yeah.
Yeah,
It's like all the way down to like his feet.
yeah. Oh Lord, have mercy. That's funny. Speaking about all of this like crossover and whatnot, BKFC is like getting a new rise, bare knuckle fist fighting. Is that something you'd ever be interested in? I know that's another extreme. What are your thoughts on that? Would you ever do
Dude,
something like that?
that's more extreme than MMA, I think too, because it hurts to punch people in the face with no gloves. Like it's like bone on bone, so that shit hurts.
I think they just have the
I can
padding, but
hit the
that still
back for a little bit
hurts.
without gloves or anything. Like I can hit the back for a little bit, but nah, hell no, not for like the whole fight. You trying to hit the skull, even with 8 ounce gloves, when you hit somebody in the top of the head and the dome. It's still kind of like you can still feel it if you have some good ass hand wraps. You won't feel it as much, but you can still feel it though. Like, and I can't imagine without hand wraps and now no gloves. Like, fuck, you can break your hand pretty easily. That's an easy break. But it's something interesting. Like I said, I'm open to anything. Like, if it makes sense, then I'm pretty open to it. But it's something that I would consider more because I think it's more dangerous than M- than MMA and boxing because I think boxing is more dangerous than MMA, and even Daniel Cormier was talking about it in a podcast that in MMA you get knocked out and the fight ends right with one punch, but in boxing you get knocked down and you get back up and then you get knocked down and you get back up. That's more trauma to the brain, but it's actually safer for you to just get knocked out cold. Like let's say the second round. Or like let's say like when Rolly's got knocked out by Tank, it's more safer for that to happen than for him getting ass whooping by Tank for like 10 rounds.
Like what happened with Pitbull. He
But
was
in this
Exactly.
case, bare knuckle, I think it's the same thing as boxing rules. I mean, you get knocked down, you get back up, you get knocked down, you get back up. But just in bare knuckle, you're gonna lose a lot more blood because there's more cuts. So that's something that you need to take more into consideration. That it's like I think it's a more brutal sport. That's why right now it's barely coming out because it's so hard for the states, depending on the state, like getting the getting it legalized. But I think now in Florida, Utah for sure, because just did a show here in Utah. I don't know about California. I don't know if California is or Nevada still have it, but I'm pretty sure it's gonna be legal in Nevada and California soon. It's just that it's gonna take a while for the board to agree on everything.
And these guys are breaking their hands almost every single fight.
Yeah,
Like, think of the long-term damage for that. Like, imagine Floyd went in and did that. His hands are like sticks. Like they would snap every single fight if he was hitting people bare knuckles. So I mean, that's
he
just
was he was breaking his hands with gloves.
I know.
Imagine without. It's
Ooh. He would have pulled a Habib and done 30-0 and been out of here, bro, because he's like,
yeah.
I can't even close my hand anymore.
I know.
Yep.
Khabib, man, Khabib, and they're over there training in the mountains right now.
Dagestan.
Dagestan. They got a little. What is that small dude? The little dude.
Oh,
Oh, Umar?
Hasbullah.
Oh, Hezbollah.
oh,
Oh, that
Hasbulla.
dude. The really small dude.
Yeah,
I was like, not the
yeah.
35, the 90 pounder.
Dangerous guy right there. You don't want to mess with him. I want to see that fight. I want to see that fight with him with the other. They were facing off with the other small guy. I want them both to fight. That's gonna be a good fight. I think they're both from Dagestan.
Yeah, yeah, they're both Russian. So I mean, shoot, I haven't thought about that fight since I saw like Hezbollah throw a kick at that dude, and when like that dude was like separating the two. Like
Yeah, yeah.
those are like two of my little cousins going at it, bro. That like
Hey, the two
Mike
chihuahuas.
Tyson, Mike Tyson, and Mike. I don't know if you saw, but he was on the Mike Tyson podcast, and Mike Tyson like grabbed. He forgot Hasbullah's. I think Hasbullah's like 20 years old, and Mike Tyson grabbed him like if he was like a little baby. He's like biting his ear, fucking like they're hugging him and shit. I was like, oh, fuck. That was funny because like the little guy was like, oh fuck, I can get out, and Mike
like
Tyson
get off.
just biting his ear.
I
Oh
think he's
man.
like I think he's in his 30s or something.
Yeah, he's older, something like that. But Mike Tyson grabbed him like if he was like a regular 5-year-old, just like biting his ear and stuff. Oh crap!
Uh, well, anyways, guys,
yeah,
that's our time for today. Thank you all so much for listening to Slingin Leather. Huge thanks to Alan and Abraham for their time today. It's always great to have you all on. Be sure to hit the like and subscribe button below for more of Southern California's official combat sports show, and also follow us on Twitter and Instagram. And I'll also be sure to put Alan and Abraham's Instagram in the description below. Remember to protect yourself at all times, and we will see you guys in the next one.
Peace.
Later, guys.